Hi everyone. For this week's vlog, one of the questions was um, to show or to cite a situation in where the institutions work together to strengthen their competitive advantage. So we're all familiar with the history of like University of Pennsylvania and Notre Dame being the pioneers with broadcasting and telecasting, and how they were making strides in obtaining television contracts to bring more attention to their institutions and to their sports programs. However, the NCAA stepped in to restrict their plans to gain additional media coverage, and by doing that, they were met with much opposition. So, 1951, they they abandoned their home rule, and they tried the 1951 experimental TV plan, and just because of the backing out of the Ivy League institutions with Penn State, both Notre Dame and University of Penn, I'm sorry, not Penn State, University of Penn, both decided to just go along with the experimental plan, even though they felt like the Sherman Act was their antitrust laws was being violated. However, they went along with the policy, and in 1954, the NCAA made additional changes to or made some more changes to the original experimental plan. And so that 1954 one was met with the most opposition. And so based on that opposition and the grievances of a lot of institutions, they came up with the compromise plan of 1955, where which is one of the biggest examples where the institutions work together to come up with a compromise that everyone would win. And so the plan spoke to the needs of both the small institutions as well as the larger conferences. The compromise is said to be what held the membership together. And in fact, the way it was set up was that 8 weekends were set aside specifically for the national games, where 5 weekends were set up for the regional games. And with this compromise, it not only allowed the gate receipts to be protected, so they were still going to get the income from the gate receipts, but it was also bringing publicity to their institutions. So they were getting recognition both locally and regionally. So the larger schools were benefiting as well as the smaller schools were benefiting. So the compromise, again, was created just as an opposition, was created based on all of the opposition that was received for the 1954 TV policy that the NCAA came up with. And so they felt that that policy was super restrictive, even more restrictive than the 1951 policy. And that's what came up with the compromise. And so with the compromise, it was one of those times that it strengthened the competitive advantage because they were all working together for the good of their institution. So everyone was surviving, everyone was benefiting, depending, no matter what their needs were, everyone was benefiting from the compromise, hence the word compromise.